Would the judges like to ask any questions from the team EP012?
I'm good.
Can we move forward, sir?
No question from my side.
The next team that we would like to call upon is team EP031. Team EP031. You may start your presentation. Your time starts now.
Good morning, everybody. We are the team EP031, and we are doing this research on the topic sustainable future. The potential of the youth must be harnessed for future viability. So, the schools of many countries in the world has been closed because of this pandemic situation. So, Sri Lanka's schools were also partially closed, but nowadays they are completely closed.
Nowadays, 89% of world student population out of the schools because of this pandemic. This will be the major problem for sustainable development.
Now, and we are doing this research on the topic sustainable future. While it is still uncertain, the youth must be harnessed for future viability. The COVID-19 pandemic is, however, accelerating digital transformation in many countries in the world has been closed because of this pandemic situation. Three problems of digital Sri Lanka's schools were also partially closed, but nowadays they are completely closed. The second, negative effect of ID devices and usage in education. And third, educational inequality by digital
This will be the major problem for sustainable development.
Now, and we are doing this research on the topic sustainable future. While it is still the potential of the youth must be harnessed for future viability. The COVID-19 pandemic is, however, accelerating digital transformation in many countries in the world has been closed because of this pandemic situation. Three problems of Sri Lanka's schools were also partially closed, but nowadays they are completely closed. The second, negative effect of ID devices and usage in education.
Out of the
Third,
school
educational inequality by
This
digital
will be the major problem for sustainable development.
Now, and we are doing this research on the topic sustainable future. While it is still the potential of the youth must be harnessed for future viability. The COVID-19 pandemic is, however, accelerating digital transformation in many countries in the world has been closed because of this pandemic situation. Three problems of Sri Lanka's schools were also partially closed, but nowadays they are completely closed. The second, negative effect of ID devices and usage in education.
Out of the school
Educational inequality by
This
digital.
will be the major problem for sustainable development.
Now, and we are doing this research on the topic sustainable future. While it is still the potential of the youth must be harnessed for future viability. The COVID-19 pandemic is, however, accelerating digital transformation in many countries in the world has been closed because of this pandemic situation. Three problems of Sri Lanka's schools were also partially closed, but nowadays they are completely closed. The second, negative effect of ID devices and usage in education.
Out of the school
Educational inequality by
This
digital.
will be the major problem for sustainable development.
Now, and we are doing this research on the topic sustainable future. While it is still the potential of the youth must be harnessed for future viability. The COVID-19 pandemic is, however, accelerating digital transformation in many countries in the world has been closed because of this pandemic situation. Three problems of Sri Lanka's schools were also partially closed, but nowadays they are completely closed. The second, negative effect of ID devices and usage in education.
Out of the school
Educational inequality by
This
digital.
will be the major problem for sustainable development.
Now, and we are doing this research on the topic sustainable future. While it is still the potential of the youth must be harnessed for future viability. The COVID-19 pandemic is, however, accelerating digital transformation in many countries in the world has been closed because of this pandemic. Three problems of Sri Lanka's schools were also partially closed, but nowadays they are completely closed. The second, negative effect of ID devices and usage in education.
Out of the school
Educational inequality by
This
digital.
will be the major problem for sustainable development.
Now, and we are doing this research on the topic sustainable future. While it is still the potential of the youth must be harnessed for future viability. The COVID-19 pandemic is, however, accelerating digital transformation in many countries in the world has been closed because of this pandemic. Three problems of Sri Lanka's schools were also partially closed, but nowadays they
Thank you.
And such and social activities, no extracurricular activities adhere to academic education system, bad teachers and their influence can be regarded here.
Number 4, community-related factors for school dropouts. We identify teen pregnancy, financial problems, unproductive employment opportunities, and criminal activities as community-related factors for school dropouts. Results of school dropouts: unemployment, unskilled labor, criminals, and social stigma. Why most school dropouts prefer unskilled labor? Flexible hours, daily wages, less stress, and less responsibility. We finally identified school dropouts and lack of education mainly results in youth unemployment, which is a threat for sustainable future and a problem to harness youth potential for a viable future. Unemployment of youth. This figure shows unemployment rates in different countries. As you can see, unemployment rate of South Asian region is 20% to 25%.
Why youth unemployment is significant. This unemployment issue among youth has overcome to a great extent with the outbreak of COVID-19, turning this into a global crisis. Reasons for unemployment of youth:
Lack of education,
Increase of job seekers and decrease of job supply,
limited work experience, not having correct guidance.
financial illiteracy. Here you can see the unemployment rate in Sri Lanka from year 2000 to present, and it's quite sad to depict that 5% of our youth are jobless. Results of unemployment of youth: 1. Reduced income. 2. Health problems.
3. Negative family effects. 4. Mental health challenges. And finally, the fifth, effects of unemployment on society. How do we minimize all of that? We have gathered few strategies to minimize unemployment. Strategy number 1, use of labor-intensive technology. Both organized and unorganized sectors must contribute here. It should be active both in rural and urban sectors. As our second strategy, we have taken accelerated investment in agriculture. Agricultural sector has shown a slow growth as investment in the field have become very low since 90s. It has made a shortfall in investment or capital formation in agriculture. With the agricultural development, employment generation will simultaneously involve in rural infrastructure development too. As examples, irrigations, rural roads, flood control projects.
As the strategy number 3, we use labor-intensive industrial growth. A major drawback in employment generation is seen in urban industries. It's because of the increased use of capital industrial process. The tendency to use higher capital-intensive technology in the post-reform period has been intensified because they are trying to improve competitiveness to face the competition from imported commodities.
Strategy number 4, services and employment growth. Software services, business processing, outsourcing have a lot of employment potential, especially for the educated youth of the country. Improvements of health services, education services, and transportation services also contribute for employment growth.
Suggestions:
Higher education for everyone,
Scholarships for poor children,
vocational trainings, correct guidance for youth,
employment subsidies,
improve the labor market flexibility.
improving financial literacy.
As conclusion, in Sri Lanka, most of the school dropouts are engaged in unproductive occupations without reaching their full potential, which relatively impacts the country's economic development. This research study clearly identifies the results of increasing number of school dropouts and the unemployment caused by it, and low potential of youth remains still without contributing to the economy of the country. Therefore, through education and correct guidelines, we need to harness the potential of youth for future viability. Here are the references we made. The end.
Thank you.
Judges, please note the team EP033 has taken 6 minutes 48 seconds.
Would the judges like to ask any questions from team EP033?
I'm good. I don't have any questions.
No questions.
Okay, we will now move forward with our next team, that is team EP034. Team EP034.
Yes, ma'am.
EP034.
Yes,
You may
ma'am.
begin with your presentation. Your time starts now.
Ma'am, the screen share is taking time.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. Good day, everyone. My name is Anil Givre. I'm from Team EPZ034, and today me and my team are going to present a research study on the topic sustainable future potential of the youth must be harnessed for future viability. And within that, we're going to be discussing about brain drain. Brain drain is essentially defined as the migration of highly qualified health personnel, highly qualified, highly trained personnel, highly educated people into more developed nations, typically first world countries. Brain drain is a huge problem in third world and developing countries, as the living conditions in these third world countries and developing nations are not the best. And the constant political instability is what is keeping these countries from being developed and, becoming a first world, second world country. And with that, me and my team, Team EP034, have done some brainstorming about the problem that is brain drain. And I would like to call upon my teammate Ashish to continue with this presentation.
Good day, everyone. We have been doing some brainstorming on this topic, brain drain, and we found out some problems and what were causing those problems. For example, the lack of infrastructures, one of the major problem which is caused due to misuse of funds and government not using the tax paid by the people in a good way, and lack of education, one of the problem which is caused due to lack of resources and uneducated population. And third point, lack of economic prosperity, which is caused due to unfavorable circumstances for entrepreneurship, less place for creativity, and at last, political instability, which is caused due to frequent policy changes in our country. Now, I would like my fellow teammate Trasa to further continue this discussion.
Thank you, Ashish. Good day, everyone. I'll be speaking about data and statistics of brain drain. The figures on brain drain for the world's 48 least developed nation LDCs are stark. Around 1 in 5 people with a university education in LDCs depart for job elsewhere, compared to 1 in 25 in developed countries. The LDCs have the highest rate of brain drain at 18.4%, well exceeding the 10% rate for other developing countries. Within the context of Nepal, 42.7% of Nepalese people have poor education system, socio-economic condition, and desire to go abroad are like 25% towards brain drain, whereas high income and better living standard are 29.7. The study revealed that about 52% of Nepalese students intend to go abroad and at least 18% are already out there. Now, my friend Prajol will speak about the causes and triggers of brain drain. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. Good day, everyone. Causes and triggers of brain drain. Lack of quality education. Job providers often look for a person who has good qualification, and one who doesn't have a quality education often get left out. Scarcity in skill-based jobs that pay good money. Those who have capacity and have acquired skill to do certain jobs doesn't get paid well by the job providers, which ultimately causes brain drain because other countries pay them well on the same job. Rampant corruption and unfair wages. Rampant corruption is a huge factor in brain drain, as people of power and influence have reserved high-paying positions for themselves and has an influence over a lot of people, which they can easily manipulate. Unfair wages make it unlivable, and that ultimately leads to brain drain. Reservation nepotism. Reservation nepotism causes cases, poor quality of life. Because of poor quality of life, better basic life facilities. The given fishbone diagram represents the causes by which sector like education sector, economic sector, society, manpower, government are affected by brain drain. I would like to call Vipassana to continue the research paper.
Thank you, Parjwal. Good day, everyone. Today I'll be talking about the measures and solutions regarding brain drain. With that being said, the preventive measures of brain drain would be providing ample opportunities for employment, implementing the law strictly along with strengthening internal and political stability in order to lower corruption, improving the standard of education, and by implementing such measures, we can come up with solutions like promoting people on merit basis, providing attractive salaries on the basis of skill and experience, working to bring our universities at par with those from first world countries, and providing adequate research facilities within the country itself. Saying this, I would like to request my friend Anmol to conclude this research paper. Thank you.
Thank you, Vipassana, and thank you, everyone. From this research study, I think we've come to the realization of how grim the problem of brain drain actually is in this modern society, the 21st century, of course. And us being a country, Nepal being a country that is a very developing country. It's in South Asia, which means it is very well a third world country. And I think it's facing a huge problem of brain drain. And I think as the youth of this nation, as the youth of this world, each and every one of us, I think it is our responsibility. It lands upon us to actually solve problems like brain drain. And today being the International Youth Day, and the theme for today's International Youth Day being transforming food systems, youth innovation for human and planetary health, I think within the context of Nepal, Nepal is already a primarily agricultural-based country. I think embracing agriculture and agriculture-based professions might be the best suitable option for Nepal to control brain drain. And with that, I would like to conclude the research study. We've been Galaxy Public School. Thank you.
Judges, please note, the team EP034 has accumulated 6 minutes 23 seconds.
We'd like to notify everyone Team 032 is ready, with due respect.
Will judges like to ask any questions from Team EP034?
No questions.
Okay. We would now like to go back to Team EP032 if you're ready.
Yes, ma'am, we're ready. And to everyone, there's going to be a surprise when we are presenting. So please be ready for that. And with that, you can start our count timer in 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Rise and shine. We are here with a gold mine. Visresh Honor Muhammad Public College pitching today the idea of our team and presenting our research study in front of the respected jury. The topic for our research study was sustainable future potential of the youth must be harnessed for future viability. So what is the problem no one is talking about? The problem is a large number of youths today are prone to the misleading thoughts that investing is only for adults and the risks are same as if gambling without calculations. Now introducing Investrix, the modern solution. Our invention is designed to bring viability to our generation. Investrix is a mobile application designed for youth to stand on their own feet. In a few minutes, I earnestly hope we will be able to show you our grand mission. How are we doing this? Why are we using blockchain as our infrastructure? The timeline of our vision, integrability in the post-COVID world, and what is to come in our mission of empowering the youth.
Now presenting our research study. When we initiated our research, we were astonished to see that today in 21st century, we're living in a capitalistic world where there is not a single financial platform that can help the small piggy banks become bigger returns. Yet the big portion of this huge young potential goes unnoticed, a hemorrhage towards sustainability. Here's where we come in as a cure. We promise to respect the thought of investing from a young mind. We will diversify their minuscule savings from tiffin money to get the most positive returnability for our users by assessing their risk tolerance more efficiently. Investrix is a platform where we are reverse engineering popular economic models to get the most out of our young users' small deposits. By reversing microcrediting system, we introduce microloaning, where we will take that very small loan and act as an intermediary bridge. Reversing microfinance. Bangladesh alone has more than 32 millions of youth. Yes, my country has 32 millions of youth. If regardless of their status and caste, every one of 16 to 29 years old gives us $100 for investing, the total fund becomes staggeringly huge. Therefore, even with a small input, we are providing a platform for the youth investors to participate together for a bigger output. Our unity is our strength. So, why are we the better option? Here's the scenario. Let's say Rahul saved $100 from his Tiffin money. Now Rahul starts a poultry farm with those $100. Chances are he will face risks major enough to demolish his initial capital all at once. For example, bird flu might arise and all of his poultry might die. Now, this is where the significance of reverse microcrediting and essence of diversification will play a big role. Well, let's understand how the risk factors function in a market.
Understand that few months ago, when Cristiano Ronaldo in a press conference removed bottles of Coca-Cola, stock value slumped by 1.6%. That event cost the soft drink giant over $4 billion loss in 1 month. With our model of diversifying the input, we are willing to take that risk on the users' behalf and dividing the risk factors into multiple public shares of numerous index companies. Understand that with reverse microfinancing, we are taking the small amount of the pocket money from a teenager, doesn't matter how small, and then we are investing 20% of the youth investment in some online startups that are also run by youth. We are designed to become a two-way business model via our concept. Now that you're familiar with the ideation of our research, two questions might appear. Understand how are we reaching the targeted market, that is the youth of and the potential of our society. And once we reach them, how will the huge number of bright months actually connect with us? Now we will shade that light on this concern. Here.
For our first point, we have discerned marketing strategy that includes social media advertisement, influencer collaboration, and email campaigning to develop a solid network marketing model among our targeted demography, like our stat shows. And for the second point, we're developing a phenomenal software to attract public into a novel platform. One, we will know our investor beforehand. Their preference will be our first priority. Two, design a public relations strategy for maximum exposure. Three, via digital marketing on social media platform, we will solidify ourselves to our targeted group as a socialistic financial technology. And for the last and the fourth point, we will promote our risk assessing strategy. With these dynamic approaches, all we just need is a stage for the youngster to stand up with.
And that stage is our application software. Why a mobile application? Point to be mentioned that we already have our own website, and I'd like to demonstrate that for your kind info. If you just type in the URL, you will jump into our official website. As you can see, as a surprise, we have done multiple surveys, and our mobile application is on its way. Now on to the slides. We exist to empower the youth. Now, we've done multiple surveys where more than 500 students participated. Pre-launch satisfaction rate was more than 75%, as you can see, whereas almost 300 students deliberately wanted to invest their $100 on our application. As you can see again, most of the surveys said they preferred a mobile application in this stat. Yes, 68.84%. And our reaction was to that Neki or Puch Puch, presenting a dedicated mobile app which will be up and running by 2025. It's better than your expensive brokerage firms and provides industry level security with an edge in our decentralized data infrastructure. When we say highly secure, we mean it, because we will have blockchain underneath our wonderful user-friendly design. Creating your own investment portfolio is just one click away.
Now, to sum up, Investrix is not just another software, it's a hope for the youth in the post-COVID world, a gateway that exists to empower our generations. With Investrix, youth can now learn investment, track their money in real time, get positive returnability with our superpower of diversification, and get a head start in the financial realm. Our dream is that one day a rural kid from Chhattisgarh will own at least 0.00001% shares of Apple. And that's how we say this is a new platform. This is where you can sign up, and this is where you can sustainably actually empower the youth. This is a platform that has never been seen before. This is the Envision of the Youth. This is Investrix Vision 2025. And with that, we will empower the youth for a better sustainable future. Thank you to all.
Sign up to our Vision 2025 and empower the youth for a better sustainable future. Thank you.
Judges, please note The team EP032 has taken 6 minutes 38 seconds.
Would the judges like to ask any questions from team EP032?
No questions from my side.
No questions.
We have now come to an end of all the teams, but team EP003 had requested their presentation to be redone because there was a technical problem and they were unable to present their PPT in the beginning. The judges had been kind enough to allow them. So I would request team EP003 to go ahead with their presentation. Team EP003.
Yes, ma'am.
You may start.
Thank you so much, judges, for providing us with the extra time. My greetings to everyone present here. We, School Code EP003, are here to present on the topic Sustainable Future and how the potential of the youth must be harnessed for the future viability. All of our sources in the research of this PPT are mentioned in the footnotes of each slide.
Youth as a force can change the color of the nation while keeping the tricolor flying high. Young people willing to push hard to make something happen are among the most powerful forces in the world. Youth breathe life into the bones and skeleton of the country. Never before have there been so many young people. Never again is there likely to be such potential for economic and social progress.
Youth is severally defined, with most of the countries linking the same with the physical growth of a child. It confers the very essence of growing. Theme of this year is transforming food systems. The focal point on youth selects a theme for the day, often with inputs of human organizations and members of the UN Interagency Network in Youth Development.
The youth comprise 28% of the population, contributing about 34% of India's gross national income. Like Crystal pointed out, while the projection is slightly higher than in the last few years, it disrupted export growth in 2017 when global growth was at its highest. Inflation control led to high real interest rates. Monetary policy has turned growth supportive. The Monetary Policy Committee slashed the repo rate thrice. National Democratic Alliance created tailwinds for India's growth and inflation. Bank credit growth might improve somewhat, but financial crisis in IL&FS, DHFL, and NBFC defaults. Farm income could get a leg up from the government's income transfer scheme, and a rise in food prices would boost in terms of trade, but it was never implemented properly.
Following remedies to bring the Indian economy on high growth rate. First is more government expenditure. Second, let the Indian rupee be weaker, as stronger rupee is hurting both the exports and business. Third, lower lending rates. The Reserve Bank needs to cut interest rates for banks, thereby making borrowing cheaper for the industry. Businesses should be without shocks like the demonetization. The government needs to spend more on rural areas, increasing rural people's incomes.
The German philosopher Immanuel Kant once said, "We become humans only through education. We are defined by what we have achieved through education." It is with the help of education that the youth can choose and seek their interests. With education, we set our goals and strive to achieve them. Education propels the youth in the right direction. The Union Cabinet in July 2020 approved the new education policy, NEP, which aims in the universalization of education.
Success, however, lies in uniform and transparent implementation at all levels with an equitable distribution of resources. This mammoth task can be realized only when there's a 100% cooperation and collaboration between the central, state government, and the Ministry of Education. Rural unemployment took a sharp upward turn to 6.75% from 5.1%.
Mm.
Nelson Mandela, with a vibrant hope and longing, once mentioned, "Nobody is born hating another person. People must learn to hate, and if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love." But India is intensively divided between caste, religion, and sects. It has been the chief participant for the sheer inequality in our society. The vital force behind these objectives have been the driving force of prejudice. This leads to division and dehumanization. The most prominent of all, gender discrimination.
Caste-based discrimination affects about 260 million people in India. For now, identifying the most glaring application and the most basic theories will have to be sufficient.
If we agree to acknowledge the existence of ageism as a far reaching, powerful, thus significant oppression, we can perhaps initiate discourse on the liberation of the young people. As a famous philosopher Diogenes once said, the foundation of every state is the education of its youth. Youth are the raging fire of our beacons. The fire shall carry forward the light that guides a better world. It is hence for the Indian populace to understand the vigor of youth, who shall act as an armament towards leading the country to its correct coordinates. Thank you.
Judges, please note the team EP003 has accumulated 6 minutes 31 seconds.
Would the judges like to pose any questions for team EP003?
No questions.
Judges, please note that team EP028 and team EP009 were unable to turn up because of certain unavoidable reasons. With this, we come to an end to this wonderful and enriching first session of the research study presentations, with teams in Pool 1 presenting their research studies. Our respected judges are requested to kindly mail the final judgment sheets to the Deputy Convener of the conference, Mr. Weber Srivastav, and we now would like to break for lunch. Post lunch, teams in Pool 2 will continue with their research presentations, and I request everyone to join the link by 12:50 positively so that the post lunch session can be started in time. Thank you very much. Before we go away, I would like to call upon the judges if they want to say something. Mr. Janardhan, I would request you first to say a few words.
Sure. Moment, please.
A very good afternoon to you all. And, I would like to start this with a great, with an acknowledgement to the organization for this commendable effort. Though CMS has brought schools from multiple, from across the map and provided a great opportunity to people. And I was just thinking about my schooling days. I never thought of going out of my school or my state beyond. So, and that I used to go to some of the schools for some of the participations and all. First time in the year, I think 1990, when I went to Chennai to represent my school in United Nations. It was like, like in school, everybody asked me that, hey, how was it and all. But now I see the people coming from different countries and on a single platform, and they're talking. That was like for providing such platform. I would like to congratulate the school. Next, I would like to congratulate thanks Vaibhav for bringing allowing me this opportunity to judge this event. This was he has been following up, and he has done a commendable job in this, and thanks to Vaibhav. And next is definitely the participants, the way you people spoke, and the way you people brought some of the things forward. I have to say that though you people have published the statistics that we have to travel a long distance, but I see already that we have traveled a long distance. Like people talking about research work and all. I think before I was joining my MBA, I didn't even think about doing a research work and research up to this extent. So we already traveled a long distance, and you people are like. You people are doing a commendable job. You people are kind of, if I have to compare your schooling with mine, I have to say that I was living at a stone age, and you are like you way beyond. So with this kind of youth, all the countries, definitely they have a great future ahead. I would say few of the things about the presentations. You know, you people, when you start the presentations, one thing which I would recommend you all, that at the beginning of the presentation, you people should definitely say that what you are going to say. At the middle of the presentation, say what you want to say. At end of the presentation, conclude it that what you have said. So these are the three important steps. I feel that some of the presentations had these elements in it, but some of the presentations lacked it. So not that I am putting it as a parameter. So this is just as a point. I would say that you people should learn about it. And some of the things which I would say that you people should do, like have your presentations vetted with some of the with seniors, and avoid some of the things like in one of the presentation I saw that spelling mistakes are there. So and in one of the presentations somebody has written bad teachers. So good, I think that there is nothing called a bad teacher. So if somebody's teaching you good, which you are liking, then you are really learning good things from him. And if somebody's things you don't like, then you are learning from him or her that what you should not do in your life, right? So there is nothing called a bad teacher. So if it is a teacher, if he or she is a teacher, then he's teaching good to you. It's upon you that how you people can go, how you people perceive that. And some of you your understanding, like understanding about the sustainable future. And I'll say that sustainability, if you ask me honestly, since last couple of years I have been following this concept. And but for so few of you, the way your understanding I have seen in the subject, it's commendable, it's exceptional. So yes, this is going to be this is going to be the essence, and this is going to be the crux of the future. In India, if you see, there are many people who are just the youth is just trying to tap the opportunities which is spread here and there, and which is not like the you will not find too big investments, but the returns are amazing. If I talk a concept of Ola, if I talk a concept of Oyo, they haven't invested big in the infrastructure and building their fleets, etc. They have just utilized the existing things, and they have done that. In that way, in environment, what are the things which can be utilized by you people, which can be and make it a business model. That's something. My understanding of this subject was that, like, whatever is there, like some people spoke about how the waste management can be done. Waste management, I think it's tremendous. We have a lot of waste, and how we can create a sustainable future with that. My heart gets appalled with one study which shows that in the Pacific Ocean we have the dumped waste which is as big as the country of Italy. Imagine which this much of waste is there, and definitely all these wastes are can be a business opportunity. And how you people are going to tap that, and how you can make a business out of it, is something I felt the theme of this with theme of this of today's event. But some of you have touched this, some of you did not. But I will definitely have a word with the organizers and my fellow judges to understand better. Maybe I went fundamentally wrong on the understanding of topic, but yes, that was with that perception I started my evaluation. So if I see that my understanding of the topic was wrong, then I might make changes in my things. And that, I think that's about it from my side. It was a phenomenal, like, you guys are amazing the way you people speak. And it's very difficult, it's not very easy to speak in public. I myself had to go to Toastmasters Club to develop my public speaking skills. And I'm not sure how many of you go, but you people have a great public speaking skill. And I must congratulate to your teachers, I must congratulate to your parents, and I must congratulate to you above all, that you have developed this skill and came to a forum like this and expressed your opinions in such a nice way. Congratulations, guys. And you people will not lose, or nobody will win, nobody will lose today. In my view, you all will just learn, and this is a great opportunity for you all. So definitely, you all will learn. That's about from my side, and I hope I have not taken too much of time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Now I would like to request Professor Fuad to please share his views on the studies today.
Thank you very much for having me as a judge for your program. And firstly, I would like to congratulate all the teams. Some of the teams have really done a fantastic job of, it's difficult to kind of compress your presentations in 5 to 6 minutes. And the whole, the topic is so vast to be covered. But I really appreciated the effort put in by each of the teams. And I think that's kind of gives us an indication of the quality of work that has been done. I would also like to congratulate the organizing committee, the CMS school, Mr. Vaibhav for coordinating it so well with all of us. Even at the last minute, he has been kind enough to help me out with some of the issues. So congratulations to each and every one of you, especially to the participants who have put in so much of effort. Finally, I won't take much of your time and I won't stand between your lunch. I just wanted to give you an overview of what probably if I was supposed to make a presentation of this sort, what would be some of the focus areas from my side. So firstly, when you talk of sustainable future, you have to define what exactly you mean by sustainable future, right? It could be a long-term thing, how you are managing your short-term resources in order to attain a long-term goal and sustainability, right? Some of the teams have already discussed this. There are multiple dimensions to sustainability, right? And some of these dimensions and to the future may not only be social, it may be economic, it may be cultural, and environmental as well. So most of the focus is on environmental, which is right. I think it is essential, but then a whole host of other dimensions are also a part of the sustainable future, which then gel into the sustainable development goals, right? SDGs of the United Nations. I specifically liked one of the team who had done, who have used a lot of frameworks. They've used too many frameworks in my view, but I think they did a fantastic job of trying to understand the building up a questionnaire, trying to understand what is the root cause analysis and so on. So the whole idea is, firstly, you understand what is the topic. In that topic, you define what you are really trying to look at, what are the issues in that particular topic, and you don't have the answers. So you go ahead, you talk to subject matter experts, you talk to people who know some of the answers to some of the questions, and you try to incorporate that. So that was a fantastic, that was good on the side of the team. Finally, you've identified the issues, you had to give your solutions. Now, these solutions, there has to be a common thread, as Mr. Janardhan has also highlighted. There has to be a common thread between what you intended to achieve and finally what you have suggesting. So there is a gap, there is a problem. You have to have a one-to-one solution to each of these problems, right? And I think, for example, if you want to alleviate poverty, what could be your solution, right? Is education in an influencing factor for sustainability of the future? So education is going up in India, but still, is the future sustainable or not? So, those kind of things have to be taken care of. And finally, the role of environmental shocks like COVID is again very important. How would these external shocks in the environment, could they really derail your sustainability of the future action items, right? Just one final point, in your presentation, some of you have used a lot of graphics, videos, all of that is fantastic. The quality of work really needs to be appreciated. But as a bottom line, your presentations should be, in your presentation, maybe on a slide, you should not have more than 3 to 4 points. Some of the presentations would, you can't even read and you are just moving on to the next slide, right? So be precise, be only have 2 or 3 points and talk about them, right? Use graphs and graphs and all of those pictorial tools. That would be especially useful. Okay. So once again, I thank all of you, and I thank the organizing committee. I thank your school. Having an international audience is extremely heartening to know, and I'm sure all of you have done well. Don't worry about the results. Definitely some team would be winning, some may not be winning. All of you cannot win the first prize. So, but I really appreciate the kind of effort put in by all the participants. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Ms. Lekhi Priya ma'am, we would like to invite you to share your views now.
Sure. So very good afternoon, everyone. And I would first like to thank the management committee, the CMS school, especially Mr. Wabhav, and all the schools that participated. A lot of hard work must have went into this, and all the presentations that were there, it looked like it was properly rehearsed and researched, which was very good to see. And the opportunities that today's youth are getting, kind of a platform with international school. I am, as Mr. Janardhan also pointed out, we did not get in our times. So this is very good. And it was really nice seeing you all. A big congratulations to all the participants. It was very well rehearsed and it was very well presented. And you can all pat your backs currently. Okay. So as Professor Ford says, somebody will win, somebody will lose. But then, yes, the spirit should definitely go on. Sustainable future. Now, this is a very comprehensive topic. And when I came across this topic, I was wondering that, oh my God, this is such a comprehensive topic with so many dimensions to it, so many aspects to it. How are the participants going to crunch it into like a 5-minute thing? Some of the participants, some of the schools have really done a commendable job in this. Again, I'm reiterating that it is not an easy thing because it's like it's a big idea and this is the way to future. We all know that. But to compress it and put all the dimensions into one, it is not easy. Still, it was very well done, and I had some wonderful insights, some wonderful perspectives, so which was very good. You definitely have a big potential, and since the topic was sustainable, and you all spoke about what are the problems, what is the solutions, I would like to quote Mahatma Gandhi here, who said that be the change you want to see in the world. And I'm actually hoping that all of you spoke so much about it. You have fantastic ideas. And I hope that it translates it in your life also, with your community, within yourself, within your school, within the organizations you work with, everywhere, and just not remains in the case study research presentation. So that is my hope. A big congratulations to all of you, and a very big thank you to the committee for this wonderful experience. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. And thank you very much to all our respected judges for taking out time and being here with us and judging the competition. I would like to reiterate that you have to mail the final judgment sheets to Mr. Weber as soon as you possibly can. And we would now like to break for lunch. And post lunch, pool two teams would be presenting their research presentations. And we would like all of you to join back on the link by 12:50 so that we can start the session in time. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Good afternoon, teachers. I am Mrs. Amita Koshi from Air Force Bal Bharati School. I hope this meeting has officially started because my children have their tuitions in the evening, so they want to get over with this.
ठंडे ठंडे पानी से नहाना चाहिए हो ठंडे ठंडे पानी से नहाना चाहिए गाना आए या ना आए गाना चाहिए हाँ गाना आए नहाना
May I know what exactly is
चाहिए
that?
गाना चाहिए
हमारे हमारे टीम का हो रहा है नहीं होगा तो हम इनसे कहेंगे आप 2 बजे तक निकल लीजिए
Could somebody please tell me what exactly is happening here?
Ma'am, your meeting is held.
What are you saying? Yes.
Hello, ma'am. Am I audible? Hello,
Yes, you are audible.
मैम क्या आपके टूथपेस्ट में नमक है? मैम क्या आपके टूथपेस्ट में नमक है? हेलो मैम, आपके टूथपेस्ट में नमक है?
What is happening? What is happening here?
जय श्री राम जय जय
मैम गाना सुना है
लंडे
आपने?
मुंडे हमने सुना होगा ना गाना. हेलो मैम, ऐसे अनम्यूट मत किया करो, म्यूट मत किया करो. अरे म्यूट क्यों कर रहे हो?
I'm not able to hear anybody. Am I audible to all of you?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Are you audible?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I am under hello,
Hello, hello.
hello. Om Tiwari, hello.
जरूरी नहीं
Kushak Saxena, hello.
मैं कर ले बेटा मैं तो लग ओ भोसड़ी के हेलो कौन हो ये तुम
not just a phase of life. It is a state of mind. It is a matter of the will, quality of the imagination, a vigor of the emotions. Good afternoon to one and all. May I now invite our very sincere, motivated, lively mentor, Ms. Jasmeet Kaur, Faculty, English Department, to introduce our most respected judges of Pool 2.
Thank you, Anamika. Good afternoon and Jai Jagat everyone. I am Jasneet Kaur.
You're not audible, Dan.
Good afternoon and Jai Jagat. I am Jasneet Kaur, a faculty member at CMS Family and a facilitator for today's Pool 2 presentations. I am a very warm welcome to our distinguished judges, eminent guests, and all the national and international participants. This is the second day of Epiphany, International Youth Day 2021. The topic for the research study presentation is Sustainable Future, Potential of the Youth Must be Harnessed for Future Viability. The Pool 2 teams are ready and we are all set for the proceedings of this session. Now, I will quickly run you through the rules of the research study presentations. Each team is allotted time slot of 6 minutes. All teams are requested to cooperate with the organizers and adhere to the time schedule. The time includes the following activities: stating the subject and problem, discussion of the various aspects of the subject supported by relevant data, statistics, figures, and examples. Multimedia, PPTs, graphs, and images can be a part of the detailed discussion and analysis. Practical suggestions and solutions must be a part of the presentation. Suitable conclusion by one of the team members. A warning bell will be rung after 5 minutes, and final bell will be rung to denote the end of the presentation. The minimum number of participants in the research study presentation is 3 and maximum is 5. Only the students of classes 9, 10, 11, and 12 can be a part of the team. Only one research study presentation from one school will be accepted for the participation. The participants must be in complete white uniform without the logo of the school. I wish all the best to all the teams. Now it is time to introduce our judges. We have an incredible panel of judges on board with us to help with the difficult task of picking the winners, and we feel lucky to have them here with us. Our first judge is Professor Rajhans Mishra. He is currently working as an associate professor at IIM Indore in the Information Systems area. His teaching and research areas include technology strategy, analytics, and e-governance. He was involved in corporate training for the executives belonging to various organizations like ONGC, NTPC, Indian Army, Tata AIA, Mazagon Dock Shipbuilders Limited, India Post, Canara Bank, etc. Professor Rajhans has also done consulting assignments for many organizations as Income Tax Department, NTPC, Indore Police, NHAI, and UPPCL. He also served as the area chair of the Information System area at IIM Indore. He is a member of the Academic Council of Symbiosis University of Applied Sciences, Indore, as well as Course Structure Committee member of the Integrated MBA program at IIIT, Allahabad. We welcome you, sir. Our next judge for today's session is Ms. Pritha Pandey. Dale Carnegie trained in delivery and NLP certified practitioner, armed with postgraduate degree in management. Ms. Pritha has facilitated around 1,000 plus hours of classroom delivery. With an experience of 16 years in HR and training function of corporate world, Ma'am Pritha has delivered workshops as well as managed trained teams of trainers. She is certified psychometric test professional. She has a diploma in industrial psychology and also certified in behavioral training design by Oscar Murphy Strategist. She has successfully designed and delivered workshops for various levels of participants. She's been associated with colleges, corporates to coach, mentor, and guide students and employees. She's been associated with Delhi Government Employability Assessment Program as assessor to gauge the skills of individual and suggest measures to improve them. Ma'am, we welcome you. Now I will introduce our next judge for today's session, Ms. Shivani Garg Sabrawal. Ma'am Shivani is a management and behavioral training consultant, a Dale Carnegie certified with a postgraduate diploma in business administration. She has facilitated sessions from junior to senior management with an experience of nearly 19 years in the corporate world. She underwent a certified program, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Ma'am has a rich experience of working with national and multinational companies like Kotak Securities, IBM, and Manpower Consulting. She is closely associated with Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana and contributing effectively to the purpose of skill development in the country. Her last assignment as a full-time employee was with Kotak Securities, where she was working as regional head HR, managing more than 1,000 employees. Ma'am, I extend warm welcome to you. Now, without further ado, I would like to call teams for today's presentations. I would like to invite Team EP013. Team EP013. You're welcome. Team EP013, are you ready? Team EP013, are you there? Please respond. Your time starts now.
Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am, could you please give us a minute? There has been some technical issue on our side.
All right. Judges, do you permit them
Yes,
to
please.
present to
Yes,
have
please.
the
You can do
presentation at
that.
the end? All right. We'll move on to the next team, EP014. EP014.
Heading. Athletic
Team EP014.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, EP013.
Yes. Are you ready with your presentation?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Judges,
Ma'am,
please.
did you refer to the team one EP3013 or 31?
It is EP013. EP013.
I believe EP031 is speaking right now for some reason.
No, it is Team EP01P has to present.
Oh.
Team, please give your confirmation if you are present.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Ma'am, we are team EP03. Sorry for the inconvenience.
All right. You are 013.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, there are two teams who are the same. Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am, could you please verify what team names are there in EP013? Because two teams are being like they think that two teams have EP.
Two teams have been allotted same number. No, I have team EP013. It is they are scheduled to have their presentation.
Ma'am, what are the names of the participants? Could you please?
I don't have them with me. I don't have the names with me.
Ma'am, because we have the same team code.
Okay, give me a minute, please. Allow us a minute, please. All right, team EP013, I would put you on hold and let the things be clarified. I will move on to team EP014. Team EP014. Are you present? Team EP014. Please confirm your presence. I cannot hear any confirmation from the team. I will move on to the next team now. Team EP015.
Yes, ma'am, we are here.
Yes, ma'am, we are here.
Judges, please note, this is team EP015. Your time starts now.
We may have only 5 minutes to present.
Can you just give us 1 minute, Niran, so that we can start this game?
Yes, please.
Ma'am, there is some disturbance.
Yes, yeah, you can start, please.
Greetings, everyone. Greetings, everyone. This is the presentation by EP015.
Sustainable development is development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Climate change is the long-term alteration of temperature and typical weather patterns in a place. Here are a few problems which we are facing. Global warming. The Earth's temperature had already warmed by 1 degree Celsius compared to pre-industrial levels. This temperature rise may appear small, but small rises in temperature translate into big changes for the world's climate. How is global warming affecting life in the world? Global warming stresses ecosystems through temperature rises, water shortages, etc. Increasingly severe weather events like bushfires, storms, floods, cyclones, and coastal erosions will see increased damage to homes as well as more costly insurance premiums. It becomes difficult for farmers to graze livestock and produce food, leading to inflation. Coral erosion and bleaching due to rising temperatures and acidity in water bodies. Health. Increasingly severe and frequent heat waves may lead to death and illness, especially among the elderly. Higher temperatures and humidity could also produce more mosquito-borne disease. Temperature and precipitation are two important positive factors of disease like malaria, which may reappear in different forms as a result in the change of climate.
Loss of biodiversity. India has lost 90% of the total area under its biodiversity hotspots. The mangroves are converted into fisheries. Coral reefs are used to provide raw materials for the cement industries, and wetlands are being filled up to build houses. We are losing species at a rate 1,000 times greater than at any other time in recorded human history.
Nature is in crisis, and India's situation is no different. Alarmingly rising temperature and global warming are causing melting of our glaciers. Billions of people depend on these glaciers either directly or indirectly for clean water, air, food, and income. We all are aware of the fact that CFCs are causing ozone depletion, yet we continue to manufacture and use products containing CFCs, methyl chloroforms, etc. It is due to the negligence of the humankind that the world is going through a series of catastrophic events that have shaken the environmental conscience. Boulder conservation efforts are the key to reversing the trend.
Present day solutions to live a sustainable life. Go plastic free. So when we talk about plastic, we need to realize a simple fact that no country can be plastic free. Since we cannot eliminate this evil, we need to turn it into a boon. For example, bioplastic, which works just like plastic but cause less rather no harm to the environment. Sustainable consumerism. Reduce, reuse, recycle may feel a retro, but it's just as important today as when the phase was first coined. Every product we
Hello,
purchase has
Links.
an environmental footprint. So
How
before
are
you
you?
buy, ask yourself if you really need it. We should not only boycott the products that endanger wildlife, but also the
Yes.
products that endanger species by threatening their habitat, from cutting down old growth forests to using of the water that riparian species need for
Tata.
their survival. Switch to sustainable lifestyle. Do not put toxic chemicals down the drain. Use carpool and public transport as much as possible. Adopt a plant-based diet. Power your home with renewable energy and save water.
Now, what are the solutions that we can take in order to combat climate change? First of all, increasing the cost of carbon based fuels will motivate companies to reduce their carbon footprints and ultimately switch to clean energy like solar energy and hydropower sources. A carbon tax also boosts economic growth. For example, Sweden's carbon tax has reduced its emissions by 26% in the past 27 years. During that same period, its economy grew by 78%. Secondly, equal representation of youth in formal bodies is an urgent need, as they will be the ones who would bear the brunt of the climate change. Youth representation helps youth become an active part of the society. Thirdly, as the climate crisis becomes more serious and obvious, as youth, we can utilize our power of vote by electing the leaders who demand climate action and prominently talk about their climate policies and not just make vague promises. Fourthly, knowledge regarding this phenomenon helps young people be concerned about climate from a very tender age, understand and combat climate change. Educating children can spur changes in their parents' recycling habits and energy saving behavior. It encourages them to adapt to what is already a global emergency.
The climate crisis is something where the consequences are not local, they are global. As the representative of youth on this forum, we must responsibly consider what we are debating over today. Even though the presentations shown here were full of stats taken from renowned sources, questions doubting the existence of climate change is thrown at the youth. Industrialists, politicians are unable to welcome this urgent shift from fossil fuels to renewable sources of energy, spread the idea that climate scientists are uncertain about climate change. As much as it is clear that there is no reasonable doubt about climate change being real, I have a bigger message. The youth needs to understand that the biggest challenge that knocks on our door, which even makes climate change or poverty or gender inequality look smaller, is the problem that we are still treated as kids and that our opinions are not at all respected. I've seen 13, 14 years olds sacrificing their school lives to march on the streets to break the stereotype and make those on the responsibility table hear our demands. The one thing that I have learned looking at people around me is that the future entirely depends on the amount of efforts the youth puts in to turn the even modern day business and political tactics to something sustainable and uncorrupted. It is also the responsibility of the youth to tell everyone that we are here for a cause, which is to save our planet. Because the youth stands for what it stands on. And that maybe not the adults, but the youth surely will act the way it would when its house is on fire, because it is. Thank you so much.
Judges, please note the participants took 7 minutes, 10 seconds.
Thank you so much, team. I would request the judges to ask the question if they have any. Judges are requested to raise any question if they have.
Yeah, I have one question for the team. Considering the aggressive ambition of becoming developed country, which is there with India, how do you think that these environmental concerns will be really addressed?
Thank you so much, sir, for the question. What I feel is that a large part of India feels that the in climate change or global warming is caused by the actions of the developed countries. But what I feel is that this type of mentality is completely wrong, because whenever the actions or whenever the consequences of climate change, which is happening right now, whenever it will happen, the the result or the consequences will be faced by the entire society, by not only the developed countries but also the underdeveloping and the developing countries. And when we talk about the developed countries, I feel that there is a reason why they are called developed countries, and they will have effective mechanism to combat climate change, whereas it is the developing and the underdeveloping countries that will suffer. So we can take this as in the form of an example, like we consider the underdeveloping countries and the developing countries as the middle class people, and the developed countries as the higher class people of a society. So for example, if a flood comes or any natural calamity comes, it is the higher society or the people of the higher society who reaches a safe place the first, and it is the poor people or the lower class people who become climate refugees or who are the ones to suffer. So I think this is the kind of mentality that should be indoctrinated in the mindsets of people in the developing and the underdeveloping countries, especially in a country as big as India, so that we can understand what exactly climate change is and we can have an effective and a sustainable approach towards our development. Thank you.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, team.
Thank you, everyone.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, we are team EP014. We would like to present.
All right. Can we have you at the last?
Ma'am, if it was possible, could we do it right now? Because our school timings get over.
I think we can have it. If they are ready, just quickly we can have it.
All right.
Do it in 5 minutes, yeah?
Thank you.
All right.
Yes.
So we are having team EP014. Your time starts now.
Quick, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today, we are EP014. We are here to discuss on the topic encouraging the youth to undertake entrepreneurship in India. Youth are necessarily the backbone of a nation who, through their energy and passion, bring out the dramatic alterations in a nation and the way it functions. Through their continuous hard work and urge to question the long-driven orthodox norms, they have the ability to bring out a societal change and construct a society. Entrepreneurship is considered as a key driver of the economic growth, success, and affluence. So to summarize what an entrepreneur is, a person who has both the vision and the mission to construct something innovative, profitable, and challenging, and fortitude to accept all the associated risks. A change agent who has the courage to question traditional processes and adapt new ones. This is all what we would be discussing today.
Governments and local communities globally have recognized that key to building prosperity and stimulating regional growth is fostering youth entrepreneurship. Unemployment for educated youth has become particularly acute since the education explosion of the early 2000s. Through the promotion of entrepreneurship as a possible source of job creation, empowerment, and resource dynamism, it has attracted increased policy and scholarly attention. Yet, there is no systematic attempt to look at it from the youth's angle. Through grounded research and in-depth analysis, the aim of this presentation is to stimulate policy debate, portray the outlook, and understand the obstacle for youth entrepreneurship in India. Attempt is also made to suggest strategies that can be initiated for enhancing youth entrepreneurship. Promoting youth entrepreneurship will not only help in reducing unemployment, as proven by researches and findings done in the last few years. More importantly, showing young people that they have the alternatives to create their own destiny by starting their own companies and just not waiting to find a job. A lot of constraints and perceived barriers to youth entrepreneurship have been identified, like lack of capital, poor infrastructure, strict and cumbersome government regulations, lack of guidance and awareness, etc.
India seems to stand at an advantage because of its huge youth population, which is higher than any other nation. The high number of young individuals means more educated job aspirants looking for suitable job opportunity. The increase in youth population puts a huge pressure on the economic resources and assets. In such a scenario, wages are likely to fall below what is acceptable, thus leading to deterioration in the standards of living. The most trajectory impact of youth unemployment is not the loss of earning talent or opportunity, but the lifelong mark that it leaves on the person's mind, denting all his confidence and passion.
Many of the young people take over their family business. The major proportion of youth tend to become the first time job seekers and look out for opportunities in their surrounding environment. The first is the ever growing number of unemployed young people, and second is the desire for competitiveness combined with pressure for skill development. We have to focus on why to take up entrepreneurship and why it is need of the hour. Undoubtedly, one reason contributing to the popularity of youth entrepreneurship is its ability to provide native solutions to economically disadvantaged sections of the nation. Beyond just being the contributor to national income, youth entrepreneurship also acts as a bridge between novelty and marketplace.
The method used for this research project is a combination of secondary research and a questionnaire survey. We did a survey in order to determine what are the factors holding back the youth to take up entrepreneurship. The results in the form of graphs can be seen on your screen as well. Mostly, the youth fear that they would not have the financial resources and the knowledge in the field they choose. Over 42% haven't even heard of the government policies made to support their startups, which means lack of awareness and discourages them to take up entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is living like a few years of life like most people won't, so that you can spend the rest of your life like most people can't. In front of you are some Indian entrepreneurs who worked hard and made themselves stand out in a crowd and are true inspiration to everyone.
Various initiatives in the form of introduction of Make in India 2014, Startup India 2015, and Digital India 2015 have been launched to strengthen the manufacturing sector, make funding easier, and connect rural areas by developing their digital infrastructure. These initiatives are expected to boost the confidence of entrepreneurs and make government services available in all areas. The list of benefits that young entrepreneurs provide to a nation is never ending. Thus, there is a strong need to create an environment that is suitable to youth entrepreneurship, where there will be a scope to experiment, to innovate, and to learn, where even the well established entrepreneurs find it a privilege to support the young. Thank you, everyone. You all have been a great audience.
Judges, please note, the participant took 5 minutes, 34 seconds.
Okay, may I ask the question from the
Okay, so
participants?
yeah, Shivani, go ahead.
Yeah, hi. So I just wanted to ask the participants that I truly understand the kind of value that you've added and talked about the role of youth in becoming the future entrepreneurs. I wanted to understand, have you even looked at how the education system will contribute to it? What changes would it require to have in the education system currently that will ensure that we have strong entrepreneur psychology that we have in the youth to come? So do you suggest any changes, any thoughts on the education system to bring that change?
Ma'am, a very wonderful question. I would like to thank you for asking this question. Um, I would like to take this forward by answering the question. I would like to say, ma'am, the new education policy as of what we got in 2020 suggested that we need to focus more on the practical areas and less on the theory, because theory is something that comes in exam, but what we learn in practical is used in an exam of life. So it's very important that we give children proper training and let them know that what is in front of them in the future. Moreover,
कल को कोई लड़की के साथ सच में अत्याचार होगा तो लोग क्या कहते हैं साफ ऐसे ही होती है, सब मार के चल जाएगा। कॉमन होते जा रहा है, जो मनवर टाइप की है। किसी लड़का को मारो तब तक मारो जब तक कि वो पलट के जवाब नहीं देता। अब पलट की जहां पर मारेगा ना, महिला पे
Ma'am,
मारे।
could you please remove the disruptive elements from the meeting?
Yes, yes. All right, I think we can proceed. Yes, team. Team EP014, you can continue to give your answer. Team EP014, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you. Ma'am, our speaker got disconnected. She will be joining back in a second. Can you just...
Yeah, I think we got her answer also. So that's fine. We can move to the next.
Yes, we can move ahead.
Thank you, team. Now we'll move on to the next team, which is EP016. EP016. Please
Present,
give
ma'am.
affirmation. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. We are EP016.
All right. So you can go ahead with your presentation, team EP016. Your
Yes,
time
ma'am.
starts now.
Just a moment, ma'am.
All right. Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am. I
Yes.
think we lost the connection from our presenter end. We need some time.
Okay. So we are going to proceed with another team. Team EP017, you have the floor. Team EP017.
Yes, ma'am, we are here.
You can start your presentation now.
ma'am, I need a second. Ma'am, it's a request. I need a few seconds.
Yes, you are visible. Your presentation is also visible.
Yes. Should we start now?
A very good afternoon. A very good afternoon to all the jury members. We are the team EP017. First of all, we would like to thank you all for giving us this laudable opportunity to present a superlation presentation on the topic sustainable development, which has also given us the responsibility to go through and search on such a life-saving topic. So now, Devanshi will start the presentation.
Team, we cannot hear you.
Ma'am, the host has disabled the video of a speaker.
All right. Give us a minute to figure out. Team, you can start your presentation now.
Ma'am, can we start from starting?
Yes, you can.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Your time starts now.
A very good afternoon to all the jury members. We are the teams EP017. First of all, we would like to thank you all for giving us this laudable opportunity to present a superlation presentation on the topic sustainable development, which has also given us the responsibility to go through and search on such a life-saving topic. Now, I would request Devanshi to start the presentation.
Mom, she's still not getting the permission to speak.
Ma'am, host is not allowing her to unmute.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Alright.
ma'am.
Give me a while to figure out. Alright, team, everything seems fine at our end and you are permitted.
Ma'am, can you let some of our team members in? They
Which
are in the
team?
waiting.
Which team is this?
EP040.
040. But you are not queued up right now. Your presentation is later on.
Can we take the next team because and then we can take
Yes,
this.
of course. We'll put you on hold, team EP017.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
EP016 is ready.
EP016 is ready.
Yes, ma'am.
Team EP016.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So you may proceed now. Judges, please note, we have team EP016. You may start your presentation now, team. Team, your time has begun. Team EP016.
Ma'am, we don't know why we cannot present our screen.
You're not able to present the screen?
Yes, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am.
You can take some time to fix it.
Ma'am,
everything is
everything is good from our end. I got
disconnected
suddenly.
If you're able to present your screen, then you can start. Otherwise, we'll move on to the next screen. And then you can present later on.
I'll just let you know. Ma'am, I'm able to.
You are able to, then you can start.
Ma'am, is the screen visible?
Yes, it is visible. You can proceed. Judges, please note, we have team EP016.
Shall I start?
Yes, please proceed, and your time starts now.
Any guesses who these people are? Though these are renowned personalities, still many of us are curtailed of their known recognition in the society. So join us on our ride to discover about all of them. The future of the world belongs to the youth of the world. And it is from the youth and not from the old that the fire of life will warm and enlighten the world. It is your privilege to breathe the breath of life into the dry bones of many around you. We stand by these lines of Tom Mann. For those who do not, see why you should.
Experience is not the base of evolution. Experiment is. Youth is the best choice for our future because of their qualitative thinking driving us to settle for best. Need of the hour is a change, or rather a revolution, which can't be expected by the older generation. Youth gets a better exposure of things around and are adaptive to rising perils, and health will be best at solving them.
The graph presented in front of you shows the youth innovation level of 2019, where it is clear that countries like India, Philippines, and Australia show the high innovation level, which results them in being more developed in recent years.
Greta Thunberg, the great environmentalist, is a perfect epitome of it. At the age of just 16, she started a global school strike movement to protest against the government's inaction on the climate crisis and has went on to become a household name in saving the nature. We can really say that age is just a number.
According to the latest United Nations estimates of world population, in 2019, youth numbered 1.2 billion persons aged between 15 to 24 years, or around 1 in every 6 persons. According to another research, it is estimated to increase by 62% by 2050 in the poorest countries. In the adjacent data, we can see that people under the age of 25 years form a bulk of population, and thus the heavy impact they are having on the society. Thus, promoting youth can work in the favor of a future.
There are various problems surrounding the youth that prevent it from untapping the true potential. The excessive substance abuse by young people has been a major one. In the following graph, you can see that children between ages 12 to 13 have remarkably low addiction rates when compared to those between 14 to 15 ages, and is significantly high between ages 18 to 24. The legalization of marijuana in Mexico is posing to the already stressing problem, indicating that the governments are also not serious towards drug abuse. Declining grades, absentees from schools and other activities, disproportionate numbers of youth involved with alcohol and other drug faces an increased risk of death through suicide, homicide, accident, and illness.
According to the US CDC, alcohol, marijuana, tobacco are some commonly used substances by adolescents. By the 12th grade, about two-thirds of students have tried alcohol. About half of 9 to 12th grade students reported ever having used marijuana. About 4 in 12, 9 to 12 graders reported having tried cigarettes. Among the 12th graders, close 2 in 10 reported using prescription medicine without a prescription. From this data, we can see that how the youth is pushing itself into devil's den, and if not stopped, then their end is inevitable. Another issue is of child labor. According to the International Labour Organization, there are around 12.9 million Indian children engaged in work between the ages of 7 to 17 years old. When children are employed or doing unpaid work, they are less likely to attend school or attend only intermittently, trapping them in the cycle of partying. Millions of Indian girls and boys are doing work every day in quarries and factories or selling cigarettes on the streets. To fight this dire problem, we can create an inclusive, learning friendly environment across settings as diverse as slums and villages, and create a dialogue between children and family to send children to school and provide admissions assistance.
Many times, youth considers itself as a total mess and often end up consuming drugs. In such times, schools and we ourselves make sure we create such a kind environment that anybody going through a rough patch will feel a need to communicate rather than going for drugs. This change cannot be radical, but a series of small events that build on each other like the sides of a mountain. The government also needs to step up and support the young minds by funding them in their innovations and researches and provide them the recognition for their work. Education should be made mandatory for all, irrespective of their economic and religious backgrounds and their sex. The older generation has played its part, but now the time has come for the older generation to give the chain of command to the young guns. Yes.
Yes, we are young, we are inexperienced. So what? At the least we can do is give a chance to the younger generation. We have already seen what older generation has did, and it is clear to us that they haven't learned from the history. They believe in the pseudo glory of the wars, and they will be our ultimate demise. So the least we can do is give a chance to the younger generations. And as the recent example have shown from the Finnish government, it is also time for more traditional politicians to listen more carefully to advice from the youth.
Judges, please note the participants took 6 minutes, 20 seconds.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Thank you so much, team EP016.
Sorry to interrupt, ma'am. Excuse me.
Yes, yes, please.
Ma'am, EP017 still haven't got permission to unmute herself, and two members of that team are in waiting room.
I have conveyed your message to the IT. Please wait for a while.
Okay, thank
till
you.
the time we look into the things. All right.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, EP016 is also facing has also faced the same problem. Our one speaker who was supposed to conclude it was not able to join.
All right.
So it got a little bit messy
Is your
again.
presentation over?
We did it somehow. We managed.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Judges, do we have any question for them?
Yeah. So I just want to know that there were certain graphs and data being shown. So I could not see any source being mentioned. Youth innovation level data was shown where they said, age group this and this with regard to alcohol consumption, etc. So from where have you taken this data? What is the
We
source?
have mentioned the source, USCDC, official site
No.
of that.
Okay, so
About
when you're
drugs.
when
Drug
you're putting
data.
up a graph, there probably, whenever you put up a graph, you can always quote the source like the other team has mentioned on that specific slide so that,
Okay, ma'am.
the observer or the listener. And another question, very quick question is that whom do you think the youth or their parents need to be counseled more to actually implement all the solutions that are in air by the government? There are a lot of schemes and a lot of solutions being
Ma'am,
given.
that depends on the kind of solution that we are talking about.
Okay.
Like for separate kinds, parents need a proper counseling, and for separate solutions, youth, our children, we need a kind of counseling, because sometimes we are more aggressive, careless, and reckless. Sometimes parents we lack the support of our parents or older generation. We need the older generation to support us in our work.
Okay, thanks. Good to go with the next team.
I would like to add to that point.
Yeah.
See, these are completely different generations, and what they lack is a communication gap. So the counseling doesn't need to be given to them individually, rather than they have to sit together and talk to each other. That is their real counseling.
Okay. Thank you for adding on. Good to go with the next team.
All right. Thank you so much. Now we proceed to the next team, which is EP017. Team EP017. We need your affirmation if you are there.
Ma'am, still one member is in waiting room.
All right. We'll move on to the next team, which is EP018.
Yes, ma'am.
You may start your presentation now.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Team EP018. Unshackle the youth. The young people are the key to the development of any nation, creating unprecedented opportunities for political, economic, and societal prosperities. The aspirations and needs of young people and their ability to meet their full potential remain largely unmet due to stagnating economic growth and limited opportunities for advancement. Due to the pertaining issue prevalent, we are suppressed and not allowed to use our full potential. This issue has to be addressed seriously to improve the socio-economic condition of the world.
And now we come to the problems faced by the youth. The society we live in has started to recognize serious issues that affect the youth. Out of the many, we have mentioned a few that require serious and immediate attention. First, we come to the lack of family support. Many people are unable to recognize their skills and they give up their dreams and aspirations just because of lack of family support. Education issues.
The education memorization isn't the most effective way to learn, yet it is a method which most teachers and students still use. This form of learning doesn't allow for deeper understanding of a subject and it doesn't promote the use of social skills. This arouses fears and anxieties in the minds of a child which is on its path to attain knowledge. Next, there is the adamant society. People in today's world find it difficult to accept changes. They resist adapting to the modern world and learning new things. Youth have become more concerned about the societal reputation than their own likes and dislikes. Last but not the least, we have the unemployment in youth. Millions of youths are unemployed today. Why? Skill mismatches is the main cause that leads to unemployment in youth. It occurs when the skills taught by education institutions do not match the needs and demands of the labor market. Other factors such as increased academic focus and increased population also contribute to youth unemployment.
Every problem has a solution. Following are a few solutions which can be implemented to solve the mentioned problems. Shifting from rote learning to conceptual learning. Our focus needs to go beyond languages, science, and mathematics and towards the development of professional and life skills that will improve students' employability as well as the effective design and delivery of a new vocational curriculum. Developing skills needed for employment. We need to enable an ecosystem with robust assessment and certification systems. Scientific data driven program designs will help us create an industry relevant workforce. Youth empowerment through social innovation and entrepreneurship has incredible potential to solve problems at grassroots level if youth are given robust platforms to connect and act. Creating a healthy environment at home and school. An enriching and stimulating home and school environment fosters healthy growth and brain development by providing a child with love, emotional support, and opportunities for learning and exploration. By youth for youth, there is a need to increase the number of non-profit organizations through which the youth can participate in community services such as recycling plastic, growing trees, donations, etc., which would help them raise funds for organizing youth programs and startups. This will not only contribute to the overall eco-friendly environment of our country, but it will also solve some of the financial problems that are faced by youth today.
Yes, then can we come across other few solutions. Youth development counseling. Organizing youth counseling and starting personality development centers will make the youth confident and able by helping them to know what they're capable of and also change their mindsets from negatives to positive, turning deaf to the society. I mean that youth should act according to their ability and wish rather than thinking about the criticizing societal stereotypes. Youth in policy process. Providing space for youth in policy process by participation in reviewing, reporting, and actual decision making of policies. Usage of youth creativity in formulation of national schemes and poverty reduction strategies is the need of the hour. Youth should be vocal. Youth should be as self-sufficient as possible. For this, we have to provide the resources and opportunities locally. Youth should be vocal about their ideas and inventions, and more importantly, patenting them. By implementing this efficiently, we can reduce the problem of brain drain.
I would like to conclude by saying that youth in our world are no longer the lost generation, but they're the invisible generation, and we must do more. Youth in our world have great potential, which, when rightly harnessed, can do wonders. If youth are provided with a proper growth and life values at an early age, which begins at home and school, they can develop skills and qualities and prosper in their lives. If the problems faced by the youths are given a serious thought and strict measures are taken to solve them, then the potential of the youth can be harnessed effectively. If the youth become independent enough to think for themselves, he can prove to be a lot more helpful to the nation as well as the world. By increasing the participation of the youth in various fields will have a great positive effect on the financial conditions of the nation, which will directly impact the sustainability of our future. Hence, to ensure a viable future, the first step is to hunt and enhance the skills of the youth. So today, let us all join together on this occasion of International Youth Day to unshackle the youth from all the ties and make them free for the betterment of the future as well as the youth. Thank you.
Judges, please note the participant took 5 minutes, 23 seconds.
Okay, fine. So I have a question for the team. A nice presentation. So what can be done to increase the participation of youth in politics, Indian politics? What are the sustainable ways of doing that? What do you think?
Yes, sir. Thank you for asking the question. So, youth mindset is that when taking risk can harm themselves. For avoiding this, first we have to counsel the parents that politics is the future of every country. By youth participating in them and their creativeness is being sourced into it, we can change the political system and also the policies that come after. Youth know their locality very much. They know the local problems and also they have a solution for it. We have to just form a group or an organization of youth and also collect their answers and queries or also solutions on that. By doing this, we can change the political system into a transparent and a very good one. And also that youth are not only adamant in just few things. You think that if we do something in a social work, people think that we are doing something low. We have to make them understand that politics is not a child's play and it is just a place where we have to work for the people, for the betterment of the nation and also the society. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, team. So we should move on to the next team now, which is EP019. Team
Excuse
EP019.
me now.
Yes.
Team EP017 is ready now.
Team EP017, are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Judges, can we have them?
Yes, please. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for the confirmation. Team EP017, you may start your presentation now.
A very good afternoon to all the jury members. We are the team EP017 present here to participate in the event. First of all, we would like to thank you all for giving us this laudable opportunity to present a superlation presentation on the topic sustainable development, which has also given us the opportunity to go through and research on such a life-saving topic. Now I would like Devanshi to start the presentation.
Sustainable development is the development that meets the needs of the present generation without compromising the needs of the future generations to meet their own needs. The concept of sustainable development came into prominence with the report of the World Commission of Environment and Development in 1987. Sustainable development looks at the issue of economic development in a larger perspective, so as to ensure that the balance between the interests of present generation and future generation is maintained. Sustainable development interlinks the development and carrying capacity of environment and ecosystem. Now, I would like to
Sustainable Development Goals. The Sustainable Development Goals, also known as the Global Goals, were adopted by the United Nations in 2015 as a universal call to action to end poverty, protect the planet, and ensure that by 2030 all people enjoy peace and prosperity. The Sustainable Development Goals or Global Goals are a collection of 17 interlinked global goals designed to be a blueprint to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all. It is a non-profit project founded and supported by United Nations and owned by community. SDG 1 is to end poverty in all its forms everywhere. Achieving SDG 1 would end extreme poverty globally by 2030. SDG 2 is zero hunger. SDG 3 is healthy lives and well-being.
Goal 4, quality education. The targets of this goal are to, by 2030, ensure that all girls and boys complete free, equitable, and quality primary and secondary education, and ensure that all girls and boys have complete access to quality early childhood development, care, and pre-primary education. Goal 5, gender equality. Goal 6, clean water and sanitation. Goal 7, clean and affordable energy.
Goal 8, decent work and economic growth. Goal 9, industry, innovation and infrastructure. Promoting sustainable industries and investing in scientific research and innovation are all important ways to facilitate sustainable development. Goal 10, reducing inequality. Goal 11, sustainable cities and communities. Goal 12, responsible consumption and production. Goal 13, climate action.
Goal 14, improvement of life in water. Goal 15, life on land. Goal 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions. Goal 17, partnership for the goals. Now I would request Akansha to continue.
Ways to help achieve SDGs at little to no cost sustainable development. First way is to educate yourself. Before you take up any action, whether to support SDGs or another cause, it is important that you must understand it. Second way is to commute sustainably. Third way is to recycle. No conversation on sustainability would be complete without mentioning recycling. And like most of the other actions on this list, recycling helps us to achieve multiple goals. Fourth way is to donate.
Fifth way is reduce consumption. Sixth way is volunteer. Seventh way is vote. If you are of legal age in your district or country, always make sure you are registered to vote. Just as with educating yourself and volunteering, voting can affect change on each and every one of the 17 sustainable development goals. Eighth way, spread the message. Now I request Shatakshi to continue.
Important measures for sustainable development. First, technology. The
Dale a
technology
tu
should
cuerpo
use
alegría,
less
Macarena, que
resource
tu cuerpo es para darle
and should
alegría y
use
cosas
less
buenas.
resource
Dale
and
a tu
produce
cuerpo
minimum
alegría,
possible
Macarena.
waste. Second is reduce, reuse, and recycle approach. Third is encourage in promoting environment education and awareness. Incorporating the subject right from the school stage will inculcate a feeling of belongingness in small children. Fourth is resource utilization as per carrying capacity. Fifth is improving the quality of life, including social, cultural, and economic dimensions. Now, I would request Devanshi to conclude the presentation.
Sustainable development in the ecological sector is necessary for the self-preservation. If we do not look after our resources and its environment, we will be the instigators of the decline of the human race. There's an English saying, talk is cheap. Are we just talking about the problems or are we going to work with the solutions that will maintain the future? Thank you.
Judges, please note the participant took 5 minutes 28 seconds.
Can I ask a question from the team? Yeah. Hello, can you hear
Sure,
me?
ma'am.
Yeah. So, team, I saw that you have researched enough to find out the 17 most sustainable goals. I understand. I was looking for something that how is youth going to contribute on these 17 goals, right? And maybe you can actually throw some more light to understand which of these 17 goals you think is going to be like a keystone, is going to be the most prominent or a pivotal goal that will going to spur many other elements of the growth, and how can youth contribute? So give me just one goal out of these 17 which you think is going to be pivotal in context of a youth contributing to it.
Ma'am, the youth will contribute by when the youth will get educated about the topic. By this, we can go for the voting purpose and we can educate them higher. We can conduct many seminars or we can tell them about the sustainable future, that how it will help us.
No, I will just add to it. I think goal 4, that's quality education, will help the youth to achieve this, because education is the foundation, I think, for basically for youth, most importantly. That's why I think quality education will help us to participate in sustainable development.
For this, government has also started many schemes, ma'am. For example, in India, we have started Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, NPEGEL for girls, and many other schemes.
Okay, fair point. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Thank you so much, team. Thank you, judges. I will
This
move on
team
to the
was
next.
E017, right? So this team was E017.
Yes, this team was EP017.
Yeah.
Now we are
Thank
moving
you. Thank you.
to team EP019. EP019.
Yes, ma'am, we are there.
Can you please confirm your presence?
Yes, ma'am, we are there. Yes, ma'am, we are there.
All right, you can start with your presentation now.
What once was a land of glaciers, humongous seas and oceans, filled with various species of flora and fauna, might become a land of doom and gloom. under the influence of a phenomena known as climate change. Climate change has already had observable effects on the environment. Glaciers have shrunk, ice on rivers and lakes have already started breaking up, and plants and animal ranges have shifted. Taking all of this in consideration, we, the team EP019, would like to discuss the topic climate change with you. The youth must take action now, else climate change will leave behind the earth as anything but the earth you know now.
The Earth's average temperature is about 15 degrees Celsius, but natural fluctuations in the climate have been occurring regularly. Some parts of the Earth are warming faster than others, but on an average, global air temperatures near the Earth's surface have gone up about 2 degrees Fahrenheit in the past 100 years. Did you know the past 5 years were the warmest 5 years in centuries? Climate change is responsible for major problems like droughts, increased wildfires, reduced agricultural yields, etc. Climate change has also led to global warming, which poses a major threat to the people in the near future. As the impact of climate change intensifies over time, us, the youth, is who will face the worst consequences. The youth of developing nations like India face the greatest risks of all, as poverty limits their ability to respond.
Sometimes even the smallest of changes made on our part have huge impacts. Let's face the facts. The transport sector accounts for 29% of the carbon emissions, taking up the majority. Burning of fossil fuels like coal, gas results in carbon pollution. Oil spills present the potential for enormous harm to deep sea oceans at large. Now, the question is, what can we do to reduce such obvious changes? Let me suggest a few ways we can do just that. Switching to electric cars, as battery powered cars would not use fuels or emit harmful gases such as carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide. Instead of burning up fossil fuels, why not use other reliable renewable energy resources? One of the easiest ways is to follow and motivate others to follow the principle of the 3 R's.
It's imperative we adopt a proper balance of energy dependability and affordability and environmental stewardship.
Social media can be a source for the development of the youth as it provides integration to the youth in various ways. Using the influence of social media, one can campaign for social good, and so it is one of the most powerful tools for spreading messages across. Technology has advanced, and with technology, renewable energy resources have become an integral part of a common man's life. There are various reasons as to why this is true. Renewable energy emits very little greenhouse gases, it emits no or low air pollutants. Instead of depleting precious resources and polluting the environment, renewable energy meets the objectives of a circular economy and is a strong motor for social and economic development. Renewable energy comes with low costs that make the energy system resilient. That's important to prevent power shortages.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the screen, you can see an electric car that is being charged. This car will only run on battery using no fuel and thus causing no pollution at all. Now, I'd like Divyash to conclude our presentation.
With this, we would like to conclude our presentation and leave behind a question. Is there a problem more important than climate change for the youth to tackle? Because climate change has already changed the oceans and seas. The continents have changed through the course of time, and it is now up to us, the youth, to make sure that in the end, the earth is not affected in adverse ways due to our greedy needs. Thank you on behalf of Team EP019.
Judges, please note the participants took 5 minutes, 14 seconds.
Ma'am, you're not audible. Please unmute yourself.
Yeah, I have a question for the team. Yeah. So when we look at the current scenario, and especially if we look at the aspirations of youth, on one hand, youth desire to live in modern world. So do you think that desire to live in the modern world with a lot of digitalization and automation in mind, will they be able to handle and tackle this climate problem? I mean, it goes right opposite or contrary to what you desire and aspire and what you're talking about in terms of solutions. So do you think it is possible?
First of all, ma'am, thank you very much for your question. Now I would like to proceed with the answer. First of all, the youth is still young. We all look at things in a very broad way. We don't just look at it from one perspective. While we are developing new things, we are developing things that are able to sustain us
Dale a tu cuerpo alegría,
to
Macarena, que tu
with
cuerpo para
current
darle alegría y
conditions,
cosa
at
buena.
least not
Dale a tu
regress
cuerpo
it back to its original way. That the climate change is
Hey,
at the peak.
Macarena,
Global warming
hey, put the
is
chopper on a
going
nigga,
on.
turn to a
So
bitches
in
on my
that
dick, tell
way,
them give me
youth is
1 minute.
much
Hey, Macarena, Macarena, Macarena.
Now, we'd like to request you to remove whoever the person is. We're not able to answer clearly.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
we are surely working on that.
Macarena, bitches on my stick, but my name ain't.
All right, so you may proceed with your answer.
Yeah, and I'm in this bitch for my click. Why? I'ma throw 20 racks on the bitch. Why? There's 3 phones on my lap.
Ma'am, if I may proceed with my answer now.
Sure.
Ma'am, basically the youth does develop a lot of new products. Now, a few of them may not be very productive for the environment on its own, but we do use the byproducts made by it in better ways to better the future. So I would like to just say one line, if that's okay with you. To have a sustainable future, we must first have a sustainable behavior. It is crucial to remind ourselves not to pursue our own happiness at the expense of the happiness of others, to prevent our own desire from being empowered and effective from threatening the lives of others and the dignity of the earth. Uh, if was I able to properly
Yeah,
answer the
thank you.
question?
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Yeah. We may proceed with next team.
Thank you, ma'am. Also, all other people in the meeting are requested to keep themselves on mute. Other than the speakers, everybody else is requested to keep themselves on mute. Thank you. Now we will proceed towards the next team, which is team EP035. Team EP035.
Yes, ma'am, we are here.
All right. Good luck, team. You can start your presentation now.
Good afternoon, all. We are Team EP035. We named our team as Liaison. Liaison means the communication and the cooperation between people and the society. So, as a consequence of COVID-19 situation, all the schools were closed and students started using mobile devices. But parents and teachers complain that students misuse their devices to chat with strange groups and they are playing games. So we started to do a research on this problem. Yes, my friend, it's up to you.
Yes, my friend. Then we did our literature review. Then we discovered that the The theory of multiple intelligence was discovered by Howard Gardner. According to Harvard, there are 9 ways a person can learn something as on the screen: logical, mathematical, spatial, linguistic, bodily kinesthetic, musical, existential, interpersonal, intrapersonal, and naturalistic. By using these researchers, we discovered that the use of electronic devices reduced the use of multiple intelligence and physical activities of the students as in the screen.
Yeah,
Then,
after literature review, we set our objectives. Our main objective is identifying problems faced by adolescents as a result of online education initiated due to COVID-19 situation. Then our specific objectives are identifying activities which are done by adolescents during school closure period, identifying popular social media and games among adolescents, identifying bad effects of using social media platforms and games, suggesting suitable solutions for the problems. 5 children from each class who are studying grade 10 to 13 were selected as a sample. Our questionnaires were submitted as a Google form as we have to follow health recommendations. And we use the survey for this research because current situation can be well detected. The pie charts and percentages were used for analyzing data. Yes, my friend?
Yeah, now you can see the results of our data analyzation. 37% of students are playing games, 20% of students chatting with friends, 18% of students are watching videos on YouTube. According to our next pie chart, 38% of the students are doing this for more than 2 hours, 18% of the students are doing this for more than 5 hours, 18% of the students are doing this for more than 7 hours. This is our third pie chart. It's obvious that 60% of the students have 2 messenger apps, 22% of the students have 5 messenger apps, while 8% of the students have 7 messenger apps. Here is our last pie chart. According to that, 28% of the students waste more than 500 rupees for mobile games, 6% of the students waste more than 800 rupees for mobile games, while 6% of the students waste more than 100 rupees for mobile games. And also, one student notes that he's worth more than 1,000. What about you, friend?
Yeah, finally we conclude that most of students are playing mobile games and they are wasting money and data. So, utilizing students' desire, we set out to find a solution to addressing and improving their multiple intelligence. Yes, my friend?
Yes, this is our solution. As a solution, we created a website. Through this website, we publish our students' arts, crafts, poems, and short stories. This also develop our skills because we do this by coding. And there's an Easter egg board. This Easter egg board will be renewed week by week. And now you can see the arts crafts done by our students. This website is named as Liaison.
Hello. Yeah, team.
So these are our references.
Okay, good to see this work, team. I have one question. The question is like this. So, why do you think students or kids will be interested to switch over from games to these kind of online activities?
Thank you, sir, for the question. So actually, sir, we explained them because this is a great, this will be a great contribution for sustainable development because mobile games will be wasting money, and most of the students know that they are doing a wrong thing, but they are doing that through wasting money. They have some problems in the in the family also. And in our project, in our presentation, there's a one student evoked that he's wasting more than 1,000 rupees, and they are playing more than 7 hours. And the problem is they are wasting money and time. And we explain them this is not good, and if they do history activities, and then the multiple intelligence will be developed, and that will be a great contribution to sustainable development. And this and we teach them that we explain them that this will be enable them that to develop their potential and to develop their skills and attributes. And that's it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, team, for putting up an interesting
Yeah,
presentation.
thank you.
Thank you, miss. Thank
Yeah, we will move on to the next presentation, next team, which is EP036. EP036.
Ma'am, excuse me, I would like to add something. Ma'am, dear gentlemen, actually, our school has a very affordable conference.
Identify your name first. Can you please
Ma'am,
identify?
EP026. I would request the judges if they can allow us to present a presentation right now because we have an unavoidable conference after 15 minutes.
All right. Judges, do you have permission?
Yes, you may go ahead, please. Yeah.
EP026 first.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You can start with your presentation now.
Ma'am, is the screen visible?
Yes, very much. It is visible. Good luck. Go ahead.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible and visible too.
Right. I would like you all to take a look at the points displayed in front of you. These are just some of the facts describing the Earth's condition right now. Good morning, everyone. We're all here to discuss sustainable development. But why are we having to do so? How has mankind managed to damage the Earth to such an extent where it is now having to discuss how to keep it alive? Isn't it ironic that the previous generation, which aims to give us enough money and resources to live a comfortable life, is also giving us an environment becoming more and more hazardous by the day? They say it's the cost of development. If so, why are only a few already rich individuals prospering from this development? Why is the poor man still poor? This is what we want to discuss today. And yes, there are definitely solutions to this problem, which can be used to stop further damage from destroying our environment. We will discuss these solutions as well.
Problems regarding sustainable development. There are a lot of issues that we have to face in 21st century, but here we'll discuss 4 major issues and their solutions. First issue, plethora of carbon. The Indian economy faces an alarming situation with regards to rise in number of carbon emissions. It refers to rise in number of carbon particles in air and amount of greenhouse gases like CO2 and methane, which also lead to the situation of global warming. Issue number 2, lack of electronic industries boom. It refers to those industries which use electricity as a raw material instead of scarce fossil fuels resources, which leads to inflationary tendencies in the economy as a result of aggregate rise in transportation costs and the general price fall. Third issue, the Great Divide. Inequality of wealth between citizens is a very common feature of a developing country, especially like India, as the gap between rich and poor is increasing day by day. The root cause of the following problem is due to the lack of equity measures by the government. Fourth issue, indicators dilemma. Real GDP to a great extent shows the progress done by country in order to produce goods and services, but it does not show the harm done by the government to the environment. Hence, we all require a green indicator to measure our growth and follow leads of countries like Mexico and Costa Rica, which have been rated in the highest ranks in the Green GDP Index.
Solutions via youth approach. Economic and infrastructure development can take place without excessive carbon emissions that exist today. This can be done by various methods, like the concept of net zero emissions. This means we're not adding new emissions to the atmosphere. Net zero by 2050 is the goal. Secondly, government can issue legislations in order to introduce parameters for carbon emissions by industries. For example, a limit can be used. Lawmakers can subsidize solar and electric energy sources. Few taxes can also be imposed. Thirdly, businesses also need to act on and are doing so through areas like the UN Global Compact. For example, Tesla's initiative to manufacture electric cars. In addition to this, people can also contribute by monitoring their own carbon footprints. For instance, Greta Thunberg has shown us how movements can also bring effective changes and actions. Equivalently, reducing inequalities is also an integral part in achieving sustainable development. This can be done through taxation and income transfer, which is the most direct way to keep inequality in check. We can take inspiration from Brazil's Bolsa Familia initiative success, as shown in the graph. Income redistribution will lower poverty by reducing inequality. Programs like Manrega will provide employment to the unorganized sector of the society. We can see its success from the graph.
In this set of fresh ideas, we have the electric vehicle industry in India as a part of the sustainable step that has taken the center stage. Certain problems like high initial cost or lack of charging infrastructure can be solved by the main players in the game, startups. Startups by the youth are continuously based on this model and are playing a pivotal role in enhancing the infrastructure. Ride sharing options, electric conversion of cars are some of the ideas that are being worked upon. With government investments and increased awareness, localization seems a perfect measure for attaining a sustainable stance in the future, along with the youth potential. Now, if we move on to the zero waste technology, the star savior of our sustainable dreams, which basically focuses on reusing and recycling. As fashion trends make way, zero waste fashion has attracted a lot of our youth influencers and fashion designers, and which produces little or no textile waste at all. Some of the brands are shown on the screen. Now, India, being a country that hosts numerous celebrations all over the year, this ideal can also be invited to your celebrations, as well as the enormous weddings that take place through sustainable accessories and zero wastage of food. Youth organizations can also be formed for collecting this leftover food and distributing it or disposing it if it is not fit for consumption.
No problem. It's too bad to be irreversible. And we are optimistic that we'll be able to overcome problems like climate change and income inequality using sustainable development. India, as a signatory of the Paris Agreement, has taken significant measures towards this direction. In order to tackle climate change, India opened up the Bhadla solar power plant, which happens to be the largest solar power plant in the world. India also opened up the IGI airport, which is India's first airport to have a solar power plant. And in order to reduce income inequality, we have taken several initiatives, like the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, the Atal Pension Yojana, and several other schemes which are related to the government of India. If we continue with our efforts and consistently implement our laws and policies, then we are bound to achieve what many countries haven't. That is, a sustainable economy with no carbon emission.
Concluding, I would like to say no matter how complex global problems may be, it's we ourselves who have caused them. It cannot be beyond our power to resolve them, and we need to do that right now at this moment. Thank you.
The participants took 6 minutes, 9 seconds.
Judges, do you have any questions to ask? Should we move on to next presentation, judges?
I have a question. See, so now if you look at the kind of contribution to carbon footprints that is happening due to developed and developing countries. So what kind of differences you see between the kind of carbon footprints that are adding by these two different kind of worlds?
So, in the respect of developed and developing countries, when it comes to the carbon footprint, I would say that the developed countries in their years of development have actually added a lot to the amount of carbon emissions that have been created in our environment. And the developing, and since today in this new environment where we're talking more and more about sustainable development, about lowering carbon emissions, it's a very promising sign to see that even developing countries are now applying methods of sustainable development into their initiatives, like how Brazil has started its Bolsa Familia initiative, and how India is also trying to monitor its carbon emissions by introducing incentives for companies who invest in solar energy, and even farmers who invest in solar energy. So I would say that it seems very promising, but we need further action. And that can happen if our youth are more educated about this issue and They elect the right people into power who are able to enact changes which will help in reducing carbon emissions and contributing to our global aim of sustainable development.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, team. Next team queued up is EP036.
So this was EP02. So this was EP026 only, right?
Yes, it was EP026, sir. Next team is EP036. Team, are you there? All right. Since I haven't heard from them, I will move on to the next team, which is EP037. Team EP037. Team EP037, please give a verbal confirmation for your presence.
Hello? Yes, we are present.
Team, your presentation is visible, but I cannot hear you.
Hello?
Yes, yes. Now you're audible. Now you are audible. You can proceed with your presentation. Good luck.
Good morning. Today, to start off our presentation, we must first understand what future viability is. The capability of an organization to create success and survive in the future despite increasing challenges, economic or social. This is future viability. For example, let's take climate change, a very common example. Although we can't see many effects of climate change currently, climate change is still a very talked about topic. That is because we are trying to find a solution in the now so that the future problems of the future is ease. Quoting Holger Bramsieb of the team Generation Design, tomorrow's problems catch up with us yesterday. But how can we harness the potential of the youth for the future? What are they actually capable of? Youth are flexible, biologically, emotionally, mentally, as well as culturally. They are also media influenced. And this gives them the creativity they need to voice their opinions on very controversial topics such as racism, sexism, and many more. Around 43% of the world's population are under the age of 25 years, which means more than a majority are considered youth. In economic terms, no business can deny that the youth are the future consumers. But what stops the youth from attaining their potential? Now, what is stopping the youth from achieving their potential, and what obstacles are they facing? Current condition of youth is highly and wholly responsible for it. Currently, there are four main factors that serve as the greatest stumbling blocks that is stopping the youth to attain their goals. Number first, too many countries are not investing sufficiently in the future of their youth, leaving behind 1.8 billion young people. Number two, in high-income economies, young people's prospects have plummeted, and there are significant concerns for their position in the labor market as well as their future in their financial security. Number three, around 13.6% of the population of youth remains unemployed according to UN, which is heavily influenced by number four factor, that is lack of education. 75 million children and adolescents do not have access to quality education. The state of global youth unemployment is represented by the following graph, which, as you can see, hit the highest in 2006, leaving about 73 million of youth unemployed. The youth of unemployment in Pakistan reached its peak in 2001, leaving 14% of the youth unemployed. The first graph represents the total population ratio of male and female, which is obviously nearly equal, as you can see. However, the literacy rate of male and female varies significantly. leaving female at the lowest recorded rate of literacy. Education is another factor that affects employment rate. As the years of schooling proceeds, increase in probability of employment rushes along. Population is another dependent factor of employment. As seen in the graph, as the population increases, the rate of employment increases as well. However, after the implementation of China's one-child policy, consistency in the employment rate can be observed. On to the next point. Now, what opportunities are being provided for the youth to achieve their potential? One of those major opportunities includes sustainable development goals. Sustainable development is development that meets the need of the present without compromising the ability of the future generation to meet their own needs. Reaching the goals requires action on all fronts. Governments, businesses, civil societies, and people everywhere all have a role to play. Now, what are SDGs? The Sustainable Development Goals, also known as the Global Goals, were adopted by United Nations member states in 2015. Now, a few sustainable development goals include number one, no poverty, number two, zero hunger, number three, good health and well-being, number four, education, quality of education, and so many more. Now, what present projects are being carried out to implement these SDGs? One of them is the Youth 2030 strategy. According to the UN, a world in which the human rights of every young person are realized that ensures every young person is empowered to achieve their full potential. Its aim, scale up global, regional, and national actions to meet young people's needs, realize their rights, and tap their possibilities as agents of change. Its goal is to extend support to youth as far as possible by 2030. As quoted by the Commonwealth Secretariat, youth participation is our greatest hope for lasting transformation. It lies at the core of our mission to create compassionate, sustainable, and equitable societies where people can thrive. Moving on. But as the youth, what do we suggest that must be implemented in taking action towards the potential of the youth? First of all, we think that countries and world leaders should support third world countries in their development. This should be a collaboration and not an individual project, as well as keeping your mind open and encouraging the people of your country so that they invest in their youth. But the youth should also help attain their own goals and help each other out. In conclusion, the youth is the future and we must invest in them. It is possible that the leaders can achieve the SDGs in the next 14 years to create a generation of empowered youth. Thank you.
Judges, the team took 6 minutes, 6 seconds.
Okay, I have a question for the team. Team, very well structured presentation. I just wanted to understand one thing at the end when you were mentioning about the points that you were suggesting. You said there are certain steps that the individual must take at the individual level, and because a lot of things that you've talked about are more at the center level or the governmental level. I want to understand from you, if you had to take one drive, one initiative at your own level, what would that would be that could really spur a lot of development, and you'll be able to contribute largely to the bigger goals. What is your individual effort that you would like to start now and sustain it for a long time?
Thank you for the question. As personally, I think that as the youth, we must help each other out. In this world, it's very selfish, and a lot of people don't think about others. As the youth, we must help each other out first. Whatever we can provide, we must provide it to our fellow children or adolescents and help them realize that they can do so much better in their life. I would also like to add a point that as social media is one of the highest platform and the most frequently used platform, we can really utilize that to help us attain the potential.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
All right, thank you, team. Thank you, girl, ma'am. We move on to the next presentation now, team EP038. I would also like to announce the next team after EP038. It is EP020, EP021. Teams, please be ready. Your order is the same as I announced. Team EP038.
This is a beach in Thailand where two tourists were murdered 7 years ago. And this is what Thai Prime Minister said. Can they be safe in bikinis unless they are not beautiful? He then apologized on the next day, but this reflects the attitudes of older generation in Thailand as well as other conservative countries. This kind of mindset has a direct effect on every woman in society. For example, special meeting for only girls in school by male teachers, where the teacher teaches how girls should act or dress. As the culture is very conservative, so older generation want to control young people attitude toward sex and relationship with other genders.
The direct effects of this way of thinking appears in the Thai curriculum. And future if are sexually active. The course syllabus mentioned the solution for girls that they should wear conservative clothing so that they won't be attractive. This is the book they use, which teaches girls to uphold their chastity. They must not have sex before marriage, and boys and girls shouldn't live together. This message doesn't work because they have 35.7 live births per 1,000 teenage girls, which is 2 times more than India and 6 times more than Sweden as a consequence from the education system. Furthermore, there are 300,000 abortions every year, and up to 300 girls per 100,000 die during abortion because most teens choose to go for unlicensed clinics from the reason that they couldn't let their parents know.
These outdated attitudes can also cause worse problems to LGBT groups. In Thailand, LGBT people are significantly discriminated against in many aspects. For instance, the law of marriage do not have the same rights as a normal couples. Also, LGBT students will not be allowed to participate in any school activity in many Thai schools. There are also examples of discriminations against women. For example, women are paid less in salary than men, even though they have the same level of education.
Having an honest conversation with the older generation about sex is a key solution to every problem we see. In Thailand and other conservative countries, parents or teachers only tell girls not to have sex, but never talk about what they need to do to protect themselves from unplanned pregnancy. Changes of school curriculum should be made first by including proper sex education that teaches students without judging them, like in Sweden. Here's the graph illustrating the teen fertility rates in Sweden. Sweden introduced the mandatory sex education in schools in 1955. It has one of the best approaches in the world. Since then, the fertility rate has decreased dramatically, as you can see. Many countries have introduced new ideas to teach about sex, contraception, pregnancy, and LGBT issues. For example, in Kyrgyzstan, there's a program where young volunteers go into schools and talk openly to small groups of children, aged 14 to 15, about sex and pregnancy. The results of this are starting to appear in a graph as the rate is clearly going down. These strategies can be adapted to use as a solution in Thailand.
The potential of youth lies in our ability to think differently, in line with the modern world. We must talk about this problem openly to change attitudes. For instance, the comments of the Prime Minister after the murder of girls in bikini would not happen if Thai men understood gender equality. Equality is only sustainable if every single man knows how to respect women. The problems of teenage pregnancies and the acceptance of LGBT people in society are significant issues. Solving them need an honest conversation It's not sustainable to ignore these problems. Turning sex into a taboo will only make teens more curious. Instead, we should equip them with the knowledge to practice safe sex. Fortunately, attitudes toward LGBT people, women in high political positions, and sex education are changing positively. We can be optimistic. Everything can get better. Thank you for giving our generation the chance to listen today. By speaking here, we are taking our first step toward the honest conversation that we need.
It's over. Judges, please note the participants took 5 minutes 20 seconds.
Okay, so I have a question for the team, but first let me congratulate them for bringing up a topic which is a less talked about topic. So good that you took up that topic. Now, if you as an individual have to do some ground level work, I will not talk about schemes the government should have or what work can be done at a larger scale. If you as an individual have to take up the initiative and start it at the ground level from your school, and you have to form one club which can help to reduce this discrimination or the problem that you talked about, which will be that one club, and what are going to be the two main objective of that club that you're going to form?
Well, thank you for your question. If I would form a club in school, I would form a club named that Honest Conversation. As we need a conversation that be open in school, and the main objective of the club is to solve gender inequality problem in school, such as the meeting for early goal in school that I have mentioned before, as well as for LGBT students that cannot participate in some activity in school as they are LGBT. That would be my two main perspectives that I would solve in school. Thank you.
Thank you. We may proceed with next.
Yes, thank you for your presentation. Yes, indeed, this is a topic less talked about. Well, now it's time to move on to the next presentation. Team EP020.
Yes, ma'am, we are here and we are ready with our presentation.
All right, all the best, team. You may proceed.
Thank you, ma'am. Can you see the slides?
Yes,
it's visible.
All right, so we start. As young people who endure a world of change and understand the threats that our world poses to us at the moment, it is just not our concern, but also our responsibility to harness our utmost potential for a future that is viable for sustainability. And to achieve that, we have to start now. Hello, everyone. This is Shubhadeep Sheel.
I'm Moinchila Banerjee. I'm Ashita Das.
And I'm Sandip Sheel.
From EP020, and today we wanted to look into mundane things and how they affect our goal of sustainability long term. And so we started with something most of us knowingly or unknowingly engage in: fashion.
We have all been exposed to fast fashion. Bought and post in H&M and Zara apparels, but not all of us are aware of what it actually costs us and our home, the earth. The fast fashion industry is responsible for a shocking 4 to 10% of global greenhouse gas emissions every year. Made from fast fashion fabrics such as viscose, cutting down 33% of ancient and threatened forests, and synthetic materials like spandex, nylon, with 342 million barrels of oil per usage, and virgin synthetics like polyester, making up 55% of clothes globally, are derived from fossil fuels. On top of that, the production of textiles uses an astonishing 93 billion cubic meters of water annually. These fabrics are not biodegradable and 87% end up in landfills or incinerated. But these can all be changed with sustainable fashion.
But what does sustainable fashion even mean? Sustainable fashion takes into account the entire supply chain and life cycle of a garment, from where and how it's made to when it ends up in our landfills. Thankfully, though, the youth, us, are spearheading the shift in the culture of shopping for clothes. Gen Z's obsession with second-hand clothes is playing a massive part in popularizing consumer awareness. Vintage is now cooler than ever.
But that is not enough. We can do more. Just by wearing our clothes 9 months longer, we can reduce our carbon footprint by 30%. And that has to start with the young people like us. Because only the consumer can push these brands to make the required changes. But while we're all at it, we just need to remember we are all a Google search away from discovering a cool vintage store. So, what's stopping us? Because we, the youth, are the ones who can take a snap for Instagram and make sustainability more than a trend, but a lifestyle that gives us a future viable for us and generations to come.
Another possible solution would be to raise our voices and vote for an administration that cares about a future of sustainability. Because it is just not about making small changes in the life, it is also about raising the voices. For example, today's teens are tomorrow's voters. And in a country, for instance, India, which has 45 million voters under the age of 25, more than 15 million first time voters making informed choices about representatives who have strong policies to limit greenhouse gases, fight climate change. The change could be huge.
Younger people can use the power of our speech to raise awareness through social media and every other platform available to us. Underage youth can attend events and talk to their friends about the need to address greenwashing.
Though our plans are on the individual scale, it only works if we all come together and use our power as the youth, as a driving force, because the whole world is looking up to young people, and that is a massive privilege. We hold in our mind, voice, and hands great power to influence the civilization for better or for worse.
Latest estimates show around 27% of the total population of 1.3 billion people in India to be young. And since democratic leaders are moved by numbers, for the government to take action for something that will last longer than their term, they need to know that their constituents, the people, us, want that change. Over 60% of the world's youth live in Asia Pacific. This translates to more than 750 million young individuals who can take the initiative to pick up their phones and change the trajectory and enforce a viable future that is sustainable for us and generations to come. Fashion is led by young people. And if we as a generation can create the change in attitude towards fast fashion, then the positive ripple effect could create a viable sustenance permanently in the field of lessening water and non-renewable usage. So, what are we awaiting? It's time we harness our full potential for a sustainable future through our efforts. That's all we had to say today. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I have a question. So, what in nutshell your message is as a team?
Our message, sir, first of all, I would like to thank you for the intriguing question, sir. Our message as a team is that we are trying to tell youth to step up and promote sustainable fashion instead of falling into the hands of fast fashion, which is very accessible and it is quite economical to the mass. But it is quite important that we, as a youth, as a generation, step up and understand what it will cost us, our children in the future, and their children. And if they at all have an earth to stay in, or places to stay, or what it's going to affect our rivers and our landfills in. This is not sustainable at all, the kind of fashion that we're engaging in. And that's an industry that's growing by the year. And fast fashion is a scaling industry, meaning it has grown around 15% in the last 10 years. That is not right. And our message is that we should adopt sustainable ways in which we dress ourselves because it is common. Every one of us has to wear something every single day. If we start small, we can make a massive change as a generation and youth. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right. So after this presentation, we will move on to the next one, EP021.
Yes, ma'am. Are we audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, ma'am. Can you please just give us 10 us minute? Ma'am, is our screen visible?
Yes, you are visible. Please start with your presentation. Your time starts now.
Good afternoon and Jai Jagat. We are team EP021 of CMS Rajajipuram 1. And the topic for today is how can we harness the potential of the youth for future viability. So the members of this presentation are Sushant Bose, Athar Singh Bhadoria, Nikhil Saxena, Aditya Sahu, and Pavan Gupta. And our team in charge is Ms. Akansha Daniel. So I'd like to start our presentation with a quote that the youth of today are the leaders of tomorrow, once said by Nelson Mandela. First, we need to talk about youth. Youth people are capable of change and growth. They work to help young people realize their full potential. They are the most important segment of the society. The way to development is only possible for a country with high youth population. India has justified this as high youth population is more in India, and because of it, it is leading to the path of development tremendously. Now over to Atharv.
Shashank. So, what do you mean by youth? Youth is a period of timeline in between childhood and adulthood. The term adolescent, teenager, or a teen refer to the same period. Personal experience is marked by an individual's cultural norms or traditions, while a youth's level of dependency means the extent to which they still rely on other emotionally and economically. Potential and importance of youth. A model system recognizes that all youth are capable of change and growth. It works to help young people realize their full potential. It is literally forward looking rather than focusing primarily on sanctioning juveniles for past offenses. Importance. The role of youth is simply to renew, refresh, and maintain. Youth have a role to renew and refresh the current status of a society, including leadership, innovation, skills, etc. Youth are expected to advance the current technology, education, politics, and peace of the country. Now, I would like to request my friend Nikhil to proceed with the problems.
Thank you, Athar. Problems faced by the youth. Communication and generation gap between youth and the elders, difference in social and cultural environment of elders, less education, unemployment, depression and mental stress, peer pressure, backward mindset, and not deserving jobs. Solutions for the problems. Value yourself. Our biggest problem is that we do not recognize ourselves. We need to identify our qualities and demerits and polish them. Set realistic goals. Decide what you want to achieve academically, professionally, and personally, and write down the steps which are going to help you to reach to your goals. Aim high, but be realistic and don't overshoot. Over to Aditya.
Thank you, Nikhil. Break up the monotony. Do something new and constructive. Although our routines make us more efficient and enhance our feelings of security and safety, a little change of pace can perk up a tedious schedule. Change in industrial technique. There should be evolution in industrial techniques to encourage manpower. Excessive use of technology reduces manpower and results in unemployment. Amend policy regarding seasonal unemployment. Seasonal unemployment occurs when people are unemployed at particular times of the year, when demand for labor is lower than usual. Change in education policy. Moral purpose keeps teachers close to the needs of children and youth. Change agent causes them to develop strategies for accomplishing their moral goals. The change process includes acceptance and adaptation of change by individuals, the school organization, and local school community. Change is not easy. Tradition and familiar routines and practices of schooling are easy to maintain and follow. Over to Pawan.
Thank you, Adit. So, today's generation, or the youth as we call it, are not the only people between 15 to 24 years of age, but are also the key to success and development of this world we live in. I believe youth are the most important and dynamic segment of the population in any country. Youth have a role to renew and refresh the community status of society, including leadership, innovations, and skills. Youth, young people who are supported by the community are less likely to become incarcerated as adults and are more likely to lead healthy, productive lives. By providing opportunities for youth volunteerism, our organization can work to strengthen trust and build a sense of unity among our community's diverse members. We may be young, we may be a little experienced, but we are here to make a change. So, in order to have the future which we desire, it is important to harness the potential of the youth. I would like to conclude the presentation by saying a quote. We cannot always build a future for our youth, but we can build our youth for the future. Thank you for winning our presentation.
The participant took 5 minutes 43 seconds.
Okay, I have a question for the team. So I'm glad you have brought up some very very interesting points, like value in your own self that you have to reflect. There is one point that I saw: communication gap. So that has you have shown it as one of the problems that youth is facing. So I want to understand from your side, what can you do to reduce the communication gap, and what kind of efforts would you think that you would like to initiate in this context?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for the question. Ma'am, in order to reduce the communication gap between elders, especially our parents, grandparents, and us, we need to be on the same page. We know that they belong to an entire different generation. They had different culture, different morals, different codes. We are much different. We can be aggressive, we can be enthusiastic, but we have to be on the same page. This can only be done by having a proper discussion with them, getting our goals straight, being on the same line, and to know what we want and what they want us to do, so that there is a proper management and no communication gap, because communication gap can lead to a problem in youth, because these are the crucial times where we need the much support and help, and as much help we can get, we can surely contribute to the society and help make this future better and the best. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you for the presentation, team. After this, we have.
Can I add something? To the question put up by our respected judge.
Would you like to answer that?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
please.
Ma'am, I would like to add a point. So,
Okay.
like, we being the younger generation need to like understand each other, listen to each other. We should sometimes we should compromise. We should keep an open mind, and we should obviously show some unconditional love for each others.
I'm glad you said that. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Fine. Your point has been considered. Thank you so much for the presentation. Now we have next team for the presentation, team EP022. Judges, please note, it is team EP022. Team, are you present there? Team EP022, are you present? Well, I cannot hear any reply, so I will move on to the next team now. It is team EP023. Team EP023.
Yes, ma'am, we are here.
You can start with your presentation.
Yes, ma'am.
I will also announce the queue in which the upcoming teams have to present themselves. Next is EP024. After that, EP025, followed by EP039, EP040, EP041, and then EP013. Ensure you are ready. Right now, we have team EP023.
Ma'am, should we start?
Yes, please start. A very good afternoon to all the respected judges and the worthy opponents present here. Youth are the most important and the dynamic segment of the population in any country. Today, the world is a home of 1.8 billion young people between the age of 10 to 24 years. The youth of our nations are highly responsible. The World Youth Report on the Youth and the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development provides insight into the role of young people for a bright future. While looking 25 years ahead, we will be better off, says the young people. The young generation is hopeful about the future and is ready to change it, but there are several problems in their paths. Today, we will be discussing about some major issues that go unnoticed.
Drug and alcohol abuse. Every year, approximately 5,000 young people under the age of 21 die as a result of drinking. This graph shows the increasing rates of deaths due to overdoses of drugs. According to a report by the World Health Organization in 2018, alcohol contributed to more than 200 diseases, ranging from liver disease to tuberculosis.
Second is the lack of world peace. In today's world of technology, every nation wants to show power and pass a huge bill for weapon export and import their education. 200 million adolescents are out of their school worldwide due to war and terrorism. Every minute a young boy or girl is brutally killed due to violence.
Access to unlimited data.